Do you remember when we were driving that one time? I don't even remember where we were coming from, but I just remember specifically being on the 110, and we had talked about starting a business, right? In the salsa business. That was like the big thing. And I remember looking at you as we went through the first tunnel. And I remember also looking up, there's like the hill over, obviously, right, of the tunnel. And it pointed towards Dodger Stadium. And I was like, I know it. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I was flashing back to Candlestick Park because I have a deep connection to its history. My dad would take me to baseball games to watch the Giants in Candlestick Park. We saw the 49ers play there a few times. It was a dump, but I loved it. It was like our dump, you know? It wasn't the most glamorous stadium. The Dodgers by far had a way better stadium than we did, but we didn't care. And then it just became a distant memory, and I think that added more to the charm for me, that it's something that's not there anymore. And when Candlestick Park became a race, it just became this empty lot that just served no purpose. It was promised to give housing to people that never happened. So it's kind of sad to see a place that held so much history and so many memories. It's just kind of seeing they're not honored. You have to have been there to know it was there. Whereas Chavez Ravine has a different story. The stadium still stands, however, the community was displaced. So both stadiums kind of represent something of displacement, and I think that's why we went into that even more. Candlestick Park, Chavez Ravine.
When we think about the word legacy, I think what's important to understand, what do we want to leave behind? Especially when we have this name as Candlestick Ravine, right? These two communities are not there anymore. We talked about this at the beginning of our journey too, of like, who do we want to employ? And as I was working on my PhD, on my dissertation, at that time I was working on looking at the role of hope in former incarcerated Latino men in Los Angeles. And I thought, God, like, what is the one reason why so many just don't find jobs is because they have a felony on their record. And how cool would it be that we would be a part of that, being able to produce and have those kinds of job opportunities for folks who have a felony on their record. It's like I truly believe in restorative justice, and I feel that when you provide a community that supports the individual, they can be restored. But I think later we also started talking about like not just staying there, but like looking at other oppressed communities, other people who are on the outskirts of our community. I think of Carlitos, my brother who has Down syndrome, and that needing of providing a space for him too. Like, where can people like him work? People with disabilities and elderly people who are looking for work can't work because they're too old, and they could be a better salsa making than me. You know what I mean? Like, they got skills, and sometimes they just need to find that community. I would love to see Candlestick Ravine be that place of community driven for many.